Guanxie, Additional Hasan, Sahakutan, the Kashishan, Wishku, Aingan, Dam, Mosquito. Happy New Year. Let me start off with that. I hope that everyone was able to get some rest and do some things that you wanted to do over the winter break. It was really nice to have that break and to come back and think about our focus for the new year. And I'm not talking about resolutions. I don't know where that kind of come from, where we make these resolutions and set ourselves up for a disappointment, because mostly the resolutions that we want to make are so outside our norm that we often aren't able to follow through on them. So I kind of look at it as my focus for the year, not I resolve to do this, but it's going to be more of my focus. And I just want to talk a bit on a recap of where 22 ended up and hopefully where we need to put our focus for our own individual well-being as well as those around us. You know, last year was a very difficult year for so many reasons. And we all know about the COVID, but a lot of people got sick, and there was a whole lot of stuff going on in the world with all the wars and with Russia and Ukraine and the stuff going on in Iran. And I mean, we're just reminded of the chaos going around the world. And I think that is kind of reflective of kind of where we are in the world. Part of that, I think, has to do with we have so much global information that we can get bombarded with the things that are wrong, because we all know that our news reporting is about sensationalism and getting leadership and that kind of stuff. It's really good news programming. So we have to really, I found I have to really limit myself on that, around the stuff that's going on in China now with COVID. I gave myself an hour to do some research and that's it, because there's nothing I can really do about that other than have myself aware enough so that I am being responsible and made aware of what's going on, but not so engulfed in it, because there's really nothing actually that I can do about what's going on in China. I can only take care of myself here. And that's what we need to remind ourselves, that we don't have this power over anybody or anything else, just simply over ourselves and how we cope with life. And coping has been something that we've been doing kind of on an as needs in crisis basis for the last 3 years with the pandemic and kind of how we move about life being changed. And hopefully we've begun to find some rhythm in that. It took me a long time to get comfortable because it was constantly changing, but I think I'm a little bit more comfortable with the unsteadiness of where we're at, and I'm much more able to go with the flow and focus on what I really need to focus on, and that's the work that I can do. And we're all here to make a difference in other people's lives. That's the work that we do. That's what students are coming to the university to, is to get educated so they can make a difference in the world. And I think we have to keep focusing on our individual goals and our individual kind of impact we have on the world around us. Not so much globally, but if we are taking care of self and looking at something that we love and finding joy in our day, then that's going to get passed on. Resolutions are about things that we resolve. Often it's things we resolve not to do. And, so many times over the years, I wish I had all the money I put into gyms that I signed up for and didn't do it because there was a reason I didn't do it in the first place. And so I think part of what's happening for me and from those that I've been talking to is there's a real kind of awareness and acceptance of where we are now in the grand scheme of things. And I think if we as Canadians look around as to where we are in our own little individual circles of life, Canada is in a very good place. And we work at a very good institution of higher education. We provide the most diverse opportunities for students to learn. We have the most eclectic group of students. We're an international university, and our students are international, and so are our staff, and so is our faculty. And that's really exciting when you think about that. Everything that we do in our day is having some sort of global outreach. We are, as an institution, presenting acceptance and growth and inclusiveness in a global kind of fashion. And so hang on to that in those days when you think, I'm so tired, I don't feel like it, I don't want to work today. Am I making a difference? The answer is yes. Yes, of course you're making a difference. Getting up and participating in the world is making a difference. We're not going to have all the answers. We're never going to have the answers, and that's okay. That's okay, because it's not my job to figure out what's going on in China. It's my job to figure out how am I keeping myself safe here. And when I look at that in our healthcare system and all our PPEs and all our vaccinations, we have the opportunity to be extremely healthy. We may need to spend a little bit more time on resting and making sure our immune system is up, and that's probably something we should have been doing all along. But the pandemic kind of has forced us into more of that. But I really do believe that we are very fortunate in Canada. We have, yes, our government is like any government, but a pretty civilized group of people who disagree with each other. And, we do it in a civilized way as you can be when you're in politics. And there's not the out and out brutality within our government or within our systems anywhere. We've always been known as a country that keeps its doors open to bring people in. And I think we should be proud of that. I think each of us individually should be proud of who we are and the country that we live in and where we see ourselves going. Now, bringing that into a more personal level, for me, it's like, and maybe it comes with being older, but I've talked to younger people who feel this way as well, is that, it's really about being comfortable and being okay within your own skin, allowing yourself to be tired or allowing yourself to, need to take a break. There's a lot of self-acceptance that's going on, and I think that is so wonderful. If there's any positivity on the outside of this 3 years, almost 3 years, 3 years of March Gray dealing with the pandemic, is that we globally have become emotionally aware. And I think we can see some of the negative sides of that, emotions run high on certain parts of the world. But to have emotional intelligence is really, really important to understand what you're feeling, where that's coming from, what you can do to help yourself, what you can do to help or assist, but be just a listening person for those you love and care about. You don't have to do that for everybody. We need to recognize that our circle of people we need to tend to is quite small. Really, it's our family and those friends close to us, and the rest we really don't have that much impact on, other than how we move about in our world. You all know what it's like to you feel really kind of why, and someone says, "Hi, how are you?" And even if it's just a passing, "Fine, thanks, how are you?" that boosts your spirit. And so sometimes just moving through the world, we help others and we don't even know it. I would really like to see us focus this year on celebration of self, on celebration of what's good. We've spent a lot of time over the last few years really having to take a deep dive in what's not good in our own personal life, in our families, in our workplace, in our communities, and in the world at large. And when you feed growth, and that's one of my teachings that I have on my web pages, which do you feed? And I would really like us to focus this year on feeding the positive, feeding what is working. Because even when you think life's gone to hell in a handbasket, you can look around and still find good things about it. And reminding people, if you've had a tough day and you got a lot on your mind, and you're trying to fall asleep, gratitude. Just start giving thanks once again for a comfortable bed, for whatever it is you can be grateful about in that moment. And before you know it, you will fall asleep. Because being in gratitude chases everything out. You know, we're all dealing with the loss of loved ones, whether they be humans or animal beings. We're all dealing with that kind of loss. But we're also dealing with a lot of positivity. Well, thank God for my dogs that pull me out of my self-indulgence of, kind of woe is me sometimes and force me into the reality that, yeah, maybe woe is me, but there's still a lot of pleasure and laughter and fun there. Really take time to, when you look at recapping, like the winter time is time for self-reflection in our native teachings, a time of storytelling, and that's when we would share stories about life and they were kind of teaching moments. That's how we did it. But we always made sure that we had time to reflect on self. So reflect over the last year, 2022, about how you've grown, what you've changed that works good for you, what you've become aware of, what you've let go of, that you wanted to let go of. Really focus on positive. Don't focus on what hasn't been done. There's nothing we can do about that. Don't focus on the mistakes you've made. Those are just learning opportunities. Take the time to focus on what's really good about you in your life and how you have grown and changed and improved from 2022 to 23. Do something really nice for yourself. Start the new year off by, whether it's going to hairdressers, buying yourself something new, whether it's treating yourself to a massage, do something really nice for yourself. Life is very short. In the grand scheme of things, life is extremely short. And we need to take each moment. The more we give to ourselves, the better we are with everyone else around us. I don't profess to have all the answers. I just know what works for me. And I was on Facebook this morning, and you know how you get that little in review of something that you posted 3 years ago. It's bringing it to your awareness. So when I was thinking about today, I read this and it really makes sense. So I'm going to end this conversation with this, I think it's 4 or 5 sentences, but it really kind of recaps on the message I'm trying to convey today. And that is to celebrate yourself, celebrate your life, celebrate all the good, and all the rest of it will take care of itself. So here we go. May all the negative energy bringing you down come to an end. May the dark thoughts, the overthinking, and the doubt exit your mind right now. May clarity replace confusion. May hope replace fear. May the light of your spirit shine so bright that nothing can dim your glow. Please remember that without you in this world, it would be a very different place. I thank you very much for listening. I wish all of you a wonderful time. Enjoy the heck out of January, and I look forward to talking to you next month. Take care. Watch you.